I was trying to come up with a name for this speech. I couldn't come up with anything really, and then and I realized the best name for this speech, I guess, would be "Government Sucks." So, thank you. And so right now, businesses are now spending their money on lobbyists because that's where the money is. And those businesses include, but are not limited to, big pharma, big insurance, big oil, car companies, the war machine, healthcare, even education, and for the love of God, the banks. But sometimes I wonder if we don't have businesses running politicians for office, because that's where the money is. That's why libertarians have it right. The government can't be allowed in business. It has no business in business. Normally, I don't pick on Barack Obama because I know that, one man from Chicago is not single-handedly taking over this country. I know that, like the Republicans, he's using both hands. But the other day he was on CNN and he was talking to some people and he said, this lady says, my truck driving school lost its funding, and I would like you to, we just lost our funding. The federal government didn't have the funding for our truck driving school. And so Barack Obama was like, well, they're always talking about me trying to perpetuate big government. And this man's lost his job. I mean, what type of big government do you think I'm trying to perpetuate? This man's lost his job. He needs to go to school. I'm going to give him the money to go to school. And then all of a sudden he can get a job. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the big government that I think you're trying to perpetuate. That's what I don't understand. They'll actually say it out loud as if we're all kind of foolish. Like, what do you think I'm trying to get away with? I think you're trying to get away with that. I mean, here's the free market at work. Wages for truck drivers rise because we don't have enough. A man sees the wages rise. So he saves his money and he gets a loan because he has good credit. So he can go to truck driving school. He graduates, he gets a job as a truck driver. Eventually wages go down for truck drivers, so not as many people go to truck driving school. How simple is that? That's the free market. That's the way things work. But when the government gets involved, they make booms and busts and bubbles. That's what the government does. It can't do anything else. There's no way that the federal government can be smart enough to do these things. It also is important to note that when the government gets involved with education, that's when the prices of education rise unrealistically. 80% of Americans right now, from the left and the right, say they don't trust government. And to me, that's why I say exactly. That's why I want to make a very small government, so there is less of them for me to mistrust. It's not a matter if only we get the right person elected, then he would make the right decisions about big government. There are no right decisions about big government. The answer is less government. They're still going to say, through my friends, through my lobbyist friends, I want to help these people. They can get a leg up in life. As long as I can help my lobbyist friends, maybe they'll get a leg up in life. To see examples of this, look no farther than healthcare, where we've all been forced to purchase insurance, or look no farther than financial reform, which is going to be written by the banks. It's going to be written by the banks, and they're like, look, we're going to help you so much, but actually it's going to decrease the competition in the banking industry. The average person benefiting from the government is like winning the lottery. It's my belief that Democrats are just one economics lesson away from being libertarians. They say they want to help people. Well, I want to help people. But I know that through economics that if the federal government takes $10 and then they return $2 to us, that this isn't helping people. Especially considering the government is the worst allocator of resources in the world. Mises said that if the federal government was put in charge of the Sahara Desert, within 2 years we'd have an extreme shortage of sand. And it's true. Americans have been dumbed down to 1 degree of separation. They can say, but I just wanted to help little Susie. Or they can say, well, we were just attacked. But they can't take it one step further and say, maybe the government is actually hurting little Susie. Maybe there's a better way. Or maybe we're attacked because of our intervention into other countries. Most people from the right, and much better, throw around the word like the Constitution, like they know what it means, or like they have read it, or even understand its intent. They don't. A friend of mine, Dave Now, on his Facebook page, and it was such a random quote for me to see, and I thought it was such a great quote, I took it off. No matter how convincing someone is and how much they throw around words like liberty and freedom, if their message comes down to fear, hate, and divisiveness, then they are not on the side of right, nor are they the allies they appear to be. If you're talking to someone from the left, how can you explain to them that the government's hurting them? And the easiest analogy I have is the CC's analogy. And it works like this, okay? 2 years ago, I go to CC's. It costs $5, you get a buffet and a soda pop. 2 weeks ago, I go to CC's. It's $7.50 for a buffet and a soda pop. Well, why does it cost so much? It costs so much because our government is spending money to pay for these programs. So when people from the left say, well, I don't pay taxes, and I don't, yes, you do. You pay the dearest tax of all, and that tax is inflation on the products that you buy. I don't know if all of you have noticed how rapidly prices are rising for food and etc. That's a huge tax. So as much as you think, no, I got to have these wars, no, I got to have health care, I got to have entitlements, I got to have all these things. You're paying for it. You just don't know it. And so that's why I always say that the left is one economics lesson away from being a libertarian. Right now is the time that we need to stop printing money. We need to stop giving stimulus. We just need to plain stop. We have a bubble and a balloon for the sake of this example. And every once in a while there appears a little hole in this balloon and the air starts to go out. Well, the government needs to let that air go out and the economy will start coming back to normal. But instead, the government consistently tapes the holes in this balloon, trying to solve it. Whether it be healthcare or education, they just keep keeping the tape, and the tape is more printed money. And every time that they try to do that, that balloon just keeps bigger and bigger and starts to get ready to pop. When in actuality, what we need to do is let those holes appear and let them drain this balloon. The question isn't what do the American people want, okay? Because to me, it doesn't matter. I mean, you can say, what do they want? Well, if what they want isn't that we return to a constitutionally limited government, then I really don't care what they want. I mean, I have people coming to me and go, it's all going to be about my constituents. Well, what do your constituents want? Because it's entirely possible that your constituents want things that you don't have the right to give them. And I think people need to think about that because we need to get America thinking about that. The only thing I can promise you is that I will try to return to a constitutionally limited government that protects your life, liberty, and property. That's it. The government goes about their way of dividing people into pies. Oh, he wants this, and he wants this, and they want this, and they want this, and it's like a whack-a-mole. If they can give this guy this, and if they can give this guy this, and they give this guy this, they'll please everybody. Well, they can't please everybody, because in the end, they're going to bankrupt this country. Anymore nowadays, if you pledge allegiance to the flag, you're a patriot. But if you pledge allegiance to the Constitution, you're a domestic terrorist.
Yeah.
They say support the troops to justify our horrible foreign policy. But if you say bring them home and defend America first, you're an isolationist or anti-American. Despite all the efforts to the contrary, we know that in reality it is not right versus left. It is not this group versus this group. It is us versus the government machine. It is hard being a libertarian-minded candidate in this world of misplaced philanthropy, greed, and media-manipulated sound bites. But I'm damn glad to see you all here. Thanks for coming. I'm sorry about reading this off the paper.